Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: can Japan build ties with North Korea if Pyongyang avoids abduction issue? California's rainy season is here. What does it mean for water supply? Utah takes another step toward nil regulation. Yulia Navalnaya once avoided the limelight. Now she's Russia's newest opposition leader. Whale song mystery solved by scientists. Can Japan build ties with North Korea if Pyongyang avoids abduction issue? South China Morning Post. A potential summit between Japan and North Korea would be pointless if the abduction of Japanese nationals is not addressed, according to analysts. Japanese leader Fumio Kishida has said it is important for him to build top-level ties with North Korea. However, North Korea has said a meeting will only be possible if Japan does not raise the abduction issue. The last talks between a Japanese prime minister and a North Korean ruler occurred in 2004. From 1977 to 1983, Japanese citizens were abducted to teach Japanese language and culture at spy schools in North Korea. California's rainy season is here. What does it mean for water supply? Associated Press. Despite a slow start, California's rainy season is finally well underway. Some parts of the state are so wet that even Death Valley National Park has a lake big enough for kayakers. Despite the January deluges, the state is not on pace for a repeat of last year's epic rain, and the mountains haven't seen nearly as much snow. Downtown Los Angeles has received nearly 17.8 inches of rain, already more than an entire year's worth of annual precipitation. Utah takes another step toward nil regulation. Yahoo! A Utah Senate committee Wednesday advanced the state's first attempt to regulate college athletes' use of their name, image and likeness. But at least one senator doesn't intend to support it when it reaches the Senate floor. I don't like NIL. I don't like the lack of transparency. I also don't like the fact that we've put ourselves at a competitive disadvantage with others. I think we're in a crappy position if we move forward. I think we're in a crappy position if we don't move forward, Senator Mike McKell, our Spanish fork, said in a Senate Education Committee hearing. Yulia Navalnaya once avoided the limelight. Now she's Russia's newest opposition leader. The Toronto Star. Yulia Navalnaya has vowed to continue her husband Alexei Navalny's work as she takes over as leader of the Russian opposition. Yulia Navalnaya has little experience of politics, having previously kept out of the limelight while her husband emerged as Vladimir Putin's most prominent critic. Yet according to a longtime friend, she was the rock that Navalny relied upon in their 20-year marriage. The question now is whether she can successfully rally the opposition in the wake of Navalny's death. Putin, who is on course to win another 6-year term as president in March, has tightened restrictions on freedom of speech and has jailed critics and opponents. Russia's opposition is divided and has been weakened by Navalny's death. However, Yulia Navalnaya is viewed as a unifying figure and could potentially bring the opposition together. Whale song mystery solved by scientists. BBC. Scientists have discovered how whales produce their complex songs and why they are disrupted by human noise. The research focused on baleen whales, which have a U-shaped vocal structure that allows them to sing by recycling air and prevents them from inhaling water. The scientists created computer models of the sounds and found that the song produced by the whales is restricted to a narrow frequency that overlaps with the noise produced by shipping vessels. This discovery could be important for the conservation of endangered whale species. Authorities to release video from school where family of LGBTQ student said teen was attacked day before their death. Yahoo! Authorities in Oklahoma will release video from inside the school where the family of an LGBTQ student said the teen was attacked and assaulted in a bathroom one day before their death, police said Wednesday. Boatman said investigators have reviewed the video and will release it at some point. He did not provide additional details about what the video shows. Morales 17 helped Boston University knock off American 67-52. Associated Press. Anthony Morales scored 17 points and had 8 rebounds and 3 blocks to lead Boston University to a 67-52 victory over American. Miles Brewster added 16 points for Boston University, while Matt Mayock had 12 points for American. Both teams will play their next games on Sunday. Boston University will host Loyola, MD, while American will travel to Colgate. Georgia GOP senators seek to ban sexually explicit books from school libraries, reduce sex education. Associated Press. Republican senators in Georgia want to cull sexually explicit books from schools, ban sex education for younger students, display the 10 Commandments in classrooms and allow religious chaplains to counsel teachers and students. Culture of exaggeration threatens rigor, authority of China's crop research. South China Morning Post. China's efforts to improve agricultural technology and ensure food security may be undermined by exaggerated figures in crop yield tests, according to state media. Many of the record-breaking yields reported in recent years have been massaged for publicity purposes, with local authorities and agricultural companies falsifying results to enhance their image or secure financial support. Beijing has placed increasing importance on food security, with President Xi Jinping labeling it a top national priority. However, exaggerated figures in crop yield tests could undermine the authority of scientific research and hinder policymaking and situation analysis. The big change coming to the way Catholic school kids are taught. The Sydney Morning Herald. Catholic schools in Melbourne have announced plans to overhaul their teaching methods for reading, writing, and maths, in a move that is expected to put pressure on the Victorian government to provide clearer guidance to its own teachers. The Melbourne Archdiocese Catholic schools will adopt explicit instruction as the best teaching method for children. This approach involves direct teaching, breaking down concepts into smaller steps, and modeling each step before progressing. After a similar shift at Catholic schools in New South Wales and the ACT in 2019, the proportion of students underperforming in reading dropped from over 40% to just 4% over 3 years. The Melbourne Archdiocese is the largest system to adopt this approach so far, affecting 115,000 students and 16,000 teachers and support staff. The move is expected to encourage a wider uptake of explicit instruction across the country. The Victorian government has not responded to calls for clearer guidance, but it has announced plans to invest $40 million in developing lesson plans that reflect the best evidence of what works in teaching. Jason Reitman and Hollywood's most prominent directors by beloved Village Theatre in Los Angeles. Associated Press. A group of more than 30 directors, including Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan and Bradley Cooper, have purchased the Westwoods Village Theatre in Los Angeles. The directors plan to use their personal collections of film props, wardrobe and prints to showcase at the theater. The group said they wanted to preserve the theater as a cultural landmark. Zach Hicks makes 3 free throws with 3 seconds left to lift Penn State past number 12 Illinois, 90-89. Associated Press. Penn State defeated number 12 Illinois 90-89 in a game played at Rec Hall. Nick Kerr Jr. scored a career-high 22 points for Penn State, while Terrence Shannon Jr. scored 35 points for Illinois. Penn State was able to overcome a 14-point deficit in the second half to secure the victory. Illinois struggled to maintain their lead and made numerous mistakes, including committing 13 of their 18 turnovers in the second half. Kerr's son Nick unsure if he'll follow dad's NBA coaching footsteps. Yahoo! Nick Kerr, the son of Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr, has been leading the team's G League affiliate, the Santa Cruz Warriors, to success as head coach. However, the 31-year-old is unsure if he wants to continue in the coaching path set by his father. While he loves coaching basketball, Nick is open to exploring other opportunities in the NBA or G League. He acknowledges that his parents have never pressured him to follow in his father's footsteps and has always strived to be himself instead of living up to his father's legacy. How AI is helping the search for extraterrestrial life. BBC. Artificial intelligence, AI, is transforming the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, by helping to process and analyze vast amounts of data gathered from radio frequencies and telescope observations. The SETI Institute is developing an AI-powered software system for the US's National Radio Astronomy Observatory that will be able to process 2 terabytes of data every second. The increased use of AI is allowing scientists to search for new types of radio signals from alien sources and to look for patterns in the data that could indicate signs of extraterrestrial life. China will miss its climate goals unless it reins in coal power, report. South China Morning Post. China is at risk of missing its climate targets unless it takes decisive action to curb coal power plant expansion and update power grid management, according to climate analysts. Carbon dioxide emissions in China's energy sector increased 5.2% in 2022, the same as GDP growth, indicating a failure to reduce energy-intensive growth. To meet its target of cutting carbon intensity by 18% between 2021 and 2025, China must achieve a 4 to 6% reduction in emissions by 2025. Approvals for new coal power plants increased fourfold in 2022 to 23 compared to 2016 to 20, putting China's climate targets severely off track. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite resident observer from the 6 Degrees World, Dr. Six. Today, we've got a fascinating mix of news stories from around the globe. From Japan's potential ties with North Korea to the mystery of whale songs and the future of Catholic school education, we've got it all. So, let's dive right in. First up, we have the potential summit between Japan and North Korea. Analysts say that a meeting would be pointless if Japan's concerns about the abduction of its nationals are not addressed. It seems North Korea is trying to avoid this issue altogether. Well, if they want to build ties, they better address it, or it'll be like trying to build a bridge without any materials. Not very effective, is it? Moving on, California's rainy season is finally here, but it's not quite as epic as last year. Death Valley National Park even has a lake big enough for kayakers. But don't get too excited, folks. The mountains haven't seen much snow, and we're not on track for a repeat of last year's rain. So, enjoy the rain, but don't forget to conserve water. In Utah, the state is taking a step toward regulating college athletes' use of their name, image, and likeness, NIL. But not everyone is on board. Senator Mike McKell doesn't like NIL, but he also doesn't like the fact that they're at a disadvantage if they don't move forward. Well, Senator, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's a tricky situation, but let's hope they find a solution that works for everyone. Now, let's talk about Yulia Navalnaya, who is stepping into the limelight as Russia's newest opposition leader. She's taking over her husband's work and aiming to unite the divided opposition. Putin's regime has tightened restrictions on freedom of speech, but Yulia is seen as a unifying figure. Can she bring the opposition together? Only time will tell, but she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. In other news, scientists have solved the mystery of whale songs. Turns out, their U-shaped vocal structure allows them to recycle air and prevent water from getting in. But these beautiful songs are disrupted by human noise, particularly the noise produced by shipping vessels. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences, even for creatures living in the depths of the ocean. Now, let's turn our attention to Oklahoma, where authorities will release video from a school where an LGBTQ student was allegedly attacked and assaulted. The family has been fighting for justice, and hopefully, this video will shed some light on what happened. It's a tragic situation, and we must strive for a world where everyone feels safe and accepted. On a lighter note, Boston University knocked off American in a basketball game, thanks to Anthony Morales' stellar performance. The game was a nail-biter, with Penn State ultimately securing a victory over number 12 Illinois. Sports can bring us joy, excitement, and a sense of community, and it's great to see these athletes in action. Now, let's talk about something close to my heart, AI. It's not just helping us search for extraterrestrial life, but also transforming the way we process and analyze data. The SETI Institute is developing an AI-powered software system that can process 2 terabytes of data every second. Imagine the possibilities. We might just discover signs of intelligent life beyond our planet sooner than we think. Lastly, let's talk about climate change. China is at risk of missing its climate targets if it doesn't take decisive action to curb coal power plant expansion. Carbon dioxide emissions in China's energy sector are on the rise, and new coal power plants are being approved at an alarming rate. It's time for China to step up and lead the way in transitioning to clean energy. The future of our planet depends on it. That's all the news for today, folks. It's been a whirlwind of stories, from international politics to sports and climate change. Now, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any questions or opinions you'd like to share? Let's get the discussion going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.